I moved away from working with pre-existing image because I felt very strongly that working with pre-existing image is putting me into this dynamic when I force my material to be a resource, rather than a collaborator. I started to work with the material using some performance art techniques to trying to re-establish its quality. And trying to approach it as equal to me, if not superior. You asked me about why I moved to Blue Mountains, and I guess, like everybody else here, I wanted to be close to nature. And it's not that I do get inspired by nature, I do get inspired by everything that surrounds me. And nature is everywhere. It's in Sydney and it's in Blue Mountains. It's just the amount of it. It's bigger and stronger here. Moving to the mountains was very important because that's what I started to experience. I started to experience more nature. And also being here through difficult times, so through the bushfires, and I was really affected. And that's one of the questions you asked me about, if I had experience of solastalgia personally, and surely I did. And that was end of 2019 when the bushfires were so strong that everything was changing. It's just it's extraordinary. And today we're surrounded by fires all around the world, in Greece and Turkey and in Russia and Siberia. It's just, we know that we caused it. So how do we keep going? This eco-anxiety is very, very strong for us. And that's why we decided to have a show. The Solastalgia, when we discussed it some years ago, how to cope with this, how to be with this, and Joel looks at a very important part of Solastalgia, when actually allowing the grief to happen and dealing with the grief. And Carol looks at the existing structures, so what is not working and why is it not working. And I guess my role was to imagine something new, where you can go from there, from that place. Once you acknowledge that, once you experience the grief, you realize that things were wrong. Where do you go from there? And this is, I'm not pretending to find answers for all. This is a personal quest. For me, it's a personal quest. And the way how I do it is, in my work, is through work with material and imagination. So working with material, to me, is the way to open that imagination. Because I can only know so much if I approach everything with the vision that I have. For that reason, like, I never use references in my work. I don't use, existing images or photographs or any object, still life or plein air. So I need to find an image in painting, because there are some interesting propositions that need to come out. I don't have them. I don't. It can only come when I try to listen to my material. I want to relearn how I am being in nature and how I am being with nature. I want to understand nature through what I have, and what I have is my body and my feelings, my thoughts, and that's what my works are about. This, to me, addresses two problems. One is the lack of my imagination, because I don't know what I'm going to come up with. And if I knew, it's probably not going to be as interesting anyways, because it came from what I already know. And when I listen to what material is proposing. So the first mark, and you listen what is there. And when I talk about material, I mean my canvas or my synthetic paper that I'm using, paint, so I just listen to what is a proposition, what is it telling me, what opportunities are there, what restrictions and limitations, and how to respond to them. And then something emerges. And that's something that that's why I paint. So because I don't use references and I work with material to find image in painting, a lot of what's coming out is what surrounds me. If I'm surrounded by nature, then some nature will be coming into what I paint. And yet, it's not just nature. There is a lot of me in those natural forms. I can see my character when I look at paintings I created here. I can see it's like a hybrid version of me being in nature. I've been asked quite a few times this question about this world in such a sad state and environment in such a sad state. Why now, when everything is so urgent, do I feel like I need to create an artwork? And to me, it was always clear that that's exactly the time when one needs to create an artwork.